It's me!
Room bell.
Here's how I found the furry fandom. If you've got your own journey with the furry fandom, let me know in the comments below. Hate them? Love them? I'd still love to hear what you have to say. Also, be sure to subscribe if you enjoy my really cringy videos, my really bad upload schedule, and my smooth and sultry voice. That's so bad. Oh furries, you and your weird fandom never ceases to amaze me. One second we're all supportive towards each other, and another second we're attacking each other over colors on a wolf-dragon-cheetah hybrid. You know, this has been a very weird fandom to be in for the past decade. I feel really old. My journey began in late middle school. I first heard about furries at this time, but it was very vague to me. Funny thing is, I actually really hated the fandom when I was younger. I really misunderstood what it was about, and I only hated it like how all the kids would hate on Dora because, you know, it was cool too back then. In fact, I would have been one of those edgy teenagers you see nowadays with anime profile pictures. Disclaimer, I never had an anime profile picture. Back then, furries were this distant blurry thing full of people who drew weird animal people. At this time, I also started to draw. It was then I drew my first persona without actually understanding or knowing what a furry even was. Now, what was my first exposure to the fandom? I can't really say for sure. I could say my first exposure to the fandom was probably through Spyro. For you younger folks, Spyro the Dragon was this video game on the PlayStation 1. I think they remade it, so you guys should probably check it out if you want. He's kinda thick. Speaking of Spyro, this is the earliest picture I have of any furry art I did, probably around 2011 or 2012 when I was still in middle school. He was a dragon heavily based off of Spyro because, you know, I was really into him when I was a kid. It's really weird thinking that this drawing is probably older than some of you watching this video. Oh god. My second quote, persona, unquote, was Leo. This was the first picture of him I drew. The first version of Leo was basically a horrible self-insert for me. This is a recurring theme throughout the video, just letting you know. For some reason, I really loved making self-inserts. He didn't really have a personality outside of mine, which was basically nothing. Also, quick tip for you youngsters, do not throw away your old art. Yes, it's cringy, yes, it sucks to you, yes, it's bad, but there's only one of that drawing. Save it so you can look back at it in the future and see how much you've improved. Or you can even turn into a YouTuber and cringe at it 10 years later. Save everything, no matter how bad it is. You'll thank me in the future. Anyway, it wasn't until high school where I seriously started drawing all this furry stuff. Here's some more of my embarrassingly bad art from back then. Enjoy while it's still up. Do not steal. In high school, I faced some drama that inspired my now webcomic. Psst, read it. I started to discover websites like FurNation, which is now defunct. RIP. Sites like these really helped me find people and discover more about not only myself, but the fandom. It was at this time I really started to get into the fandom and created even more characters to cope with some really bad things that were happening at the time. It was a perfect way for me to cope and imagine how things were like if everything were okay. I chose to stick with Leo and developed him into what you see on the screen now. Thanks to Hannah for Leo's redesign. Leo became less of a bad self-insert and transferred his edgy blank personality to Kira. I started to drift away from the fandom around college, and I still slightly am, but I started to get some real-world hands-on experience. My webcomic officially started around 2017, and it was then where I really fell in love with the fandom. I pulled away from the self-inserts and the characters really became my own. I started to draw more in real life and other people rather than myself for inspiration. You know, honestly, I stopped really caring what others thought of me and furries, and I started to put myself out there more. I honestly wish I would have put myself out there more when I was younger so I wouldn't have any trouble expressing myself now, which I'm still trying to work on to this day. What the fandom did for me though is help me find a passion for making videos and interactive media. Without the fandom, I don't think I would have delved into animation and you probably wouldn't be here watching this video. I really owe it to the fandom for helping me out through life. Despite all the bull I've taken, the fandom really has given me so much support and love that I could really ever ask for. Probably more support than my family even. While some days I question while I'm still in it, it's people like you that watch my content that keeps me going. Yes, there are bad sides, and yes, there's a lot of haters online. But at the end of the day, the fandom makes me happy, and I'm not letting anybody take that away from me.